international educator.
Hello students, welcome to Form 4 Mathematics. Our lesson today is on statistics, and the topic, or rather the subtopic, is variance and standard deviation. Objectives of the lesson. By the end of the lesson, the learner should be able to, number one, differentiate between variance and the standard deviation of a data set. And number two, calculate the variance of ungrouped and grouped data. And number three, calculate the standard deviation of ungrouped data and grouped data. Introduction. Variance is one of the measures that are used to show how a data set is spread out. Consider the following two data sets. There is one data set of 18, another 18, 20, 20, and 24. There's a second data set there of 2, 10, 22, 24, and 42. Now, looking at those two data sets, let's take a scenario here where these are two students who did an exam, and let's assume that exam was marked out of 50. Then the first student, the lowest score they had was 18 and the highest was 24. If you look at the second student had the lowest score as 2 and the highest as 42. Just using that visual data without any calculation, which of the two students appears to be more balanced in their performance? Obviously, it looks like number one, although he's not hitting very high scores, he appears to be working almost at the average. But the second student seems to be a bit poor in one of the subjects where he scored a miserable 2. And the other one, he managed a 42. If we work with measures of central tendency, where last lesson we discussed the mean, if we work out the mean of those two students, the two students will have the same mean, because mean is given by summation of the data points divided by the total points. So the mean of the first student is 20 and the mean of the second student is also 20. So this means if I reported the mean of the performance, then the two students are the same. But literally we can see there are some performance differences in the individual subjects. And that is where we bring in the issue of how the data is spread out, from the lowest to the highest. And that one communicates more information than the mean. And therefore, our topic of interest today, variance or variation. When we are looking at variation, our interest is how far is that data point from the mean of the group. For example, if I was to look at the first student, if the mean of that student is 20, how does 18 vary from 20? How does 24 vary from the mean, which is 20? In the same way, if you look at the second student, how does 2 vary from the mean? That 2 is 18 points lower than the mean of the student. What about 42? 42 is 22 points higher than the mean of the student, and therefore that explains more information than just working out the mean. Variance of ungrouped data. Suppose I give you a data set like 3, 5, 8, 11, 13, and 20, and our interest is to work out the variance. Then I'll proceed as usual, where I'll capture the X column, which is the data points, which is 3, 5, 8, 11, 12, and 20. Then the first thing I'll do is to work out the mean of that data.